Hello, everyone, and I want to welcome you all to the Royce in the House YouTube channel. Really appreciate you showing up, watching the show. I have a link up if someone wants to join me, do a little co-hosting duties, because tonight we're going to be talking about the Rolling Stones, arguably the greatest rock and roll band of all time. If you don't consider them number one, they've got to be in your top three. I absolutely love the Rolling Stones. Okay, and I bought the new album, Hackney Diamonds, the minute it came out. And I love the Stones. I've got a few albums I'm going to show, but the first thing I want to talk about is the Rolling Stones. Of course, I think everybody knows are touring right now, all right? Touring the Hackney Diamonds album. And last Thursday, it was May 2nd, they were the headliner at the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival, at which point Mick Jagger criticized Jeff Landry, Louisiana's new governor. What Mick said was something on the it was like he suggested that Landry was taking the state back into the Stone Age. Okay. so Governor Landry, being a good sport, took to social media and said, well, the only person who might remember the Stone Age is Mick Jagger. I don't know why he left Keith Richards out, right? And he goes, and then he followed that up with, love you, buddy. You're welcome to Louisiana anytime. And I really love the way he kept it all light, friendly tone. I think that's cool. I wish more people, more politicians we know could do that. There's some we know that could never do it. Okay, I'm putting a little link up. I see Michael Nolan's in the chat, and we have Caitlin and the Music Sanctuary. Hey, what's up, brother? Adam Finley. Of course, Blood Sucking Freaks here. Sir James is here. So I have a link up. So the first thing I want to do is discuss the concert tour a little bit, okay? They're touring now. I told you what happened last Thursday, May 2nd in Louisiana between Jagger and the new governor. Okay, but let's talk about this for a minute, okay? I don't want to spend a lot of time on the tour. I'd like to spend a lot of time at the tour, but I don't think that's going to happen. But let me just go over some of the places they're going to be going to. Okay, in May they're going to go to Glendale, Arizona. They're going to go to Las Vegas, Nevada, May 11th. I would have liked to have attended that when I grew up back there. It would have been kind of cool. See some old friends at the same time. They're going to go to Seattle, Washington. 2 concerts in Rutherford, New Jersey, and a concert in Maryland. Okay. Then in June, that's just May. June, they're going to Florida, Orlando, Florida, Atlanta, Georgia, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Cleveland, Ohio, Denver, Colorado, Caitlin, Denver, and then Soldier Field in Chicago. They're going to do that twice as well. So what is it going to cost you to go see? We hear a lot about the high prices of tickets. I've even heard my good friend Michael Nolan, who's the biggest Beatles fan I know, refer to, why can't Paul McCartney do a give back concert instead of a get back concert, right? Give back. And I will say this about the Rolling Stones. I know it didn't turn out well, but he did a free concert years ago at the Altamont Speedway in Northern California. Sadly, he had hired the Hells Angels for security, and someone got killed by them in the audience that brandished a pistol. So I guess they beat the guy to death. Anyway, so that didn't turn out well, but my whole point was that the Rolling Stones were giving back to their fans, and I totally appreciate that sentiment. All right. So anyway, so let's talk about this now. In July, let's see. In July, they're going to hit Vancouver, British Columbia, twice at the SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, California, which that's a contender for me. And then they're going to go to Santa Clara, California, at the stadium, Levi Stadium. Okay, so all of those are, I'll see what happens. But let me tell you what the tickets are like. Okay, they've got multiple VIP packages starting at $304 for a ticket. Okay, so what does a VIP package include? Okay, well, it includes one fabulous general admission floor ticket. Package includes first access to the general admission floor before all standard ticket holders. Exclusive Rolling Stones VIP merchandise is included. One brilliant Stone Tour 24 Hackney Diamond VIP tour gift designated exclusively for VIPs, and one commemorative Rolling Stones VIP tour laminate and matching lanyard. Okay, so that's what the VIP packages include. Now, there's several VIP packages. They all have names. You got the Start Me Up package, which is sold out. That would have been the most expensive package. The Get Close package is in the $950 range per ticket. The Jumpin' Jack Flash package is in the $700 range for ticket. But remember, this includes all of the gifts that come with the package. The Gimme Shelter package has an average price of $450 a ticket. The Paint It Black package, average price of $380 a ticket. The Tumbling Dice package, which is the least expensive package that comes with all the little gifts, has an average price of $304. Now, you can also get non-VIP premium seats anywhere from $546 to $788 that don't come with the little goodies with the packages. These are non-VIP. And then you also have your non-VIP premium seating that can range from $546 to $788. So by and large, this is the Rolling Stones, folks. And I think the prices are, they're doable. Let me put it that way. Okay. So, yeah, so I did want to mention the concert. I wanted to tell that little story about the New Orleans show where Mick got into it with the new governor of Louisiana. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the link up again and see if any of my friends want to join the show. I see we've been joined now by Sean McCall. Hey, Sean, great to see you here. Dr. Rick's in the house. Caitlin, of course. Michael Nolan's here. I know Michael's got a lot to say about the Rolling Stones. James Watson, as I mentioned before. Hit Space 80, The Music Sanctuary, U2, Frank Lyon, Piccolina the Cat. So we're getting Adam Finley's here. So the house is filling up. Royce's house is filling up. I want to thank you all so much for joining. So the next thing I think I'm going to do, we talked about the concert dates, tour dates, I should say. I think I'm going to go ahead. I promised one thing I was going to do, and that was to rank I don't have every Rolling Stone album, but I wanted to rank from starting with the best one of the ones that I do have. Now, this is my personal opinion. Don't expect everybody to agree with me, but I'm going to go ahead right now and just hit space 80. Good to see you, brother. So I'm going to start out with what I feel like is my favorite Stones album is Sticky Fingers. Okay. And I have the remastered, and I have the movable zipper. So let's just show off that movable zipper. The belt folds back, and inside you'll see the underwear, the Andy Warhol art, which is actually the sleeve in the regular album. So what we have here now, this is not an original, not an OG, because the zipper was bigger, and it was scratching up the covers and stuff. So they downsized the zipper, but it's an actual functioning zipper on this. Okay. So I rank Sticky Fingers as my number one. There's so many iconic songs on it. I can't get enough of some of these songs. Anyway, Andy Warhol art. Okay, let me get that out of the way. Okay, number two, and this has a little special meaning to me because I saw this concert, Long Beach Arena, 1972. And me and my friends, they all came down from Las Vegas. I was living in Long Beach, and some of them were living with me at the time. So anyway, we went to see the Exile on Main Street concert by the Rolling Stones, opened by Stevie Wonder. It's always sad to say that Stevie Wonder didn't get a lot of respect because everybody was so excited about their favorite band coming on, the Rolling Stones. So they didn't even get quiet while he was playing. And he finally stood up after 7 or 8 songs and says, well, I'm going to get out of here and let you guys see the band you came to see. I actually felt kind of sorry for him because I'm a big Stevie Wonder fan. He's a huge talent. But anyway, this concert was fantastic. We all enjoyed it. And I found this is an OG. I almost forgot to mention that. This is a 1972 first pressing. And what's impressive is everything that came with it. These are posters, and there's perforations in them, and you pull the posters apart. Everything's perfect. They're postcards, excuse me. There's a poster inside. But these postcards have never been torn apart at the perforations. So this is an original pressing in pristine condition. Everything's perfect. So I love that. But it wasn't an easy decision to make because there's so many close calls when it comes to ranking the Rolling Stones. So I started out with Sticky Fingers. I went to Exile on Main Street. I love this album. Some Girls. It was a tough decision. Some Girls, Let It Bleed, Beggar's Banquet. But there's just so many songs on this that I like. And in addition to that, I have, once again, I have two copies, right? And you've got the one where the girls have the yellow hair when you slide this back and forth, showing the wigs and stuff. This isn't that one. The yellow hair is not here. So anyway, Some Girls, what a great bunch of songs. Miss You. Come around with some Puerto Rican girls that are dying to miss you. Da, 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 da. Some Girls, Before They Make Me Run, When the Whip Comes Down, Lies, Beast of Burden, Shattered, Girl with the Faraway Eyes, Respectable, Imagination, When the Whip Comes Down. I mean, this is just loaded with songs that I really like. I mean, I like just about everything by the Stones, but I really like every song on this album, Some Girls. Then we get into more Some Girls. Now this should have this. Yeah, it does. It's got when you slide this, you start looking at blonde wigs as they come across. That is an original pressing right there. The other ones don't have the blonde wigs. Okay. So I'd already bought the other one, but you come across an original pressing, and these aren't like new albums. These are old albums. You can't help yourself. You just got to jump on them. So anyway, after Some Girls, I ranked Let It Bleed my next favorite. And it was really tight between that and Beggar's Banquet. It was not easy. But I mean, some of these songs, Love in Vain. I love the song Midnight Rambler. Gimme Shelter. You can't always get what you want. Now that is a huge song. You can't always get what you want. And I think that was the tipping point for me, that particular song. Okay, now we go on to Beggar's Banquet. And I love this album. The cover, the white cover kind of wants to yellow, a lot like the Beatles' White Album does. It must be made out of the same stuff. But anyway, the Rolling Stones, Beggar's Banquet. And I almost went with this over Let It Bleed. That's how close it was, because you've got Sympathy for the Devil, an iconic song that I love. No Expectations, Dear Doctor, Parachute Woman, Jigsaw Puzzle, Street Fighting Man. So, I mean, Sympathy for the Devil and Street Fighting Man are big ones for me. Stray Cat Blues, Factory Girl, Prodigal Son, and Salt of the Earth. I just felt like this other one had a little more that I really, really loved on it. So this would be next behind Let It Bleed, my personal opinion. And then we get to this one. We get to Between the Buttons. Okay. Between the Buttons. And what we've got here is some great songs also. I would actually have to open it because they're not on the back here. But with it on the back is some cartoons. Let's see. All right, let me just give you an idea why this one, fell where it fell. Because what we have here, if I can find something to read better with. Okay, so what we have here is wow, that's so like faded looking there. Okay, let's spend the night together. Okay, now I think I know why I like this one. Let's spend the night together. Yesterday's papers, Ruby Tuesday. So we got let's spend the night together and Ruby Tuesday on Between the Buttons. Okay. Let's see. Cool, Common Collective. All right. Get the lighting just right here. Well, you know what? I just really can't read that one. Let's see. So, oh, here we go down at the bottom. Let's spend the night together. Yesterday's papers, Ruby Tuesday, Connection. She smiles sweetly. Cool, calm, and collected. Side 2, Sold Out. My Obsession. Who's Been Sleeping Here? Complicated. Miss Amanda Jones. That's a great song. And Something Happened to Me Yesterday. Okay, let me just take a second here to put this stuff back in the sleeves and covers before it all gets piled on top of one another. Okay, so that's a cool album, and I've seen a lot of people really like Between the Buttons. I like it too, but this one I had to put next, and this is the Stones' newest album, Hackney Diamonds. Absolutely love this album, and this is what they're touring now. Their new album, Hackney Diamonds. Great song list, great guest artists, featured artist. We've got Angry, that was a an early release. Get Close, Depending on You, Bite My Head Off. Now that's a song that Paul McCartney played bass on, and right before he recorded his stuff, he was given a bass that had distortion built into it. I don't remember the technical term. And as soon as he started playing it, he just, like I said, he was having so much fun he couldn't stop smiling. So anyway, Whole Wide World, Dreamy Skies, Mess It Up, Live by the Sword, Driving Me Too Hard, Tell Me Straight, Sweet Sounds of Heaven, which is really a beautiful song with Lady Gaga singing with him. Okay, a duet, Mick and Lady Gaga. And then Rolling Stones Blues, just a great blues song. So this is a great album, and I couldn't wait for it to come out. Before it was released, I did 2 or 3 shows on it coming up, Okay, so I put that ahead of the Rolling Stones Black and Blue, okay? And this is a good album. I can't take anything away from it. Man, I love the Rolling Stones. I can put the Rolling Stones in my top 3 favorite bands. I mean, if they're not your favorite or in the top 3, we can at least agree we all love this band. I mean, it's just been around, since 6th or 7th grade for me. I can remember by the 8th grade, people were debating it in junior high who they liked the best, the Rolling Stones or the Beatles at that point. So we've got some great stuff here. Here's some studio notes right here, which is cool. I know there's a lot of people that know a lot more about these types of studio notes than I do. Anyway, but there's a great track list. I need to put a new sleeve here. Black and Blue, Hot Stuff, Hand of Fate, Sherry, Oh Baby, Memory Hotel. Then on the other side 2, we've got Hey Negrita, Melody. I love this song, Fool to Cry. Daddy, You're a Fool to Cry. I really like that song. And Crazy Mama. That would be my favorite song on this album, is Fool to Cry. That's a badass song. That's all I can say about it. I love that song. Okay, moving right along. See if I can keep this out of my face while I'm showing this stuff. I actually have a few more, believe it or not. I've got Goat's Head Soup. Goat's Head Soup. I remember when that came out. I was living in North Long Beach and working in Compton, California. And so I got to show, there is a wonderful picture of a goat's head here somewhere. Here's obviously not the goat's head. I think the goat's head happens to be this on the sleeve, or Yeah, I'm not 100% sure where the goat's head went. Here it is. Here it is. I pulled it out. Goat's head soup. I mean, doesn't that look appetizing? I'm all over that if I ever get the opportunity. Okay, so goat's head soup. It also has, good songs on it. They all do. Some more than others. And I'm just going to take a look at the song list here with you guys. We have, okay, Dancing with Mr. D. I always liked that song. 100 years ago. Coming Down Again. Do, 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 do. Heartbreaker. God. We have Silver Train, Hide Your Love, Winter, Can You Hear the Music, and Star Star. Not as, not a whole lot of super popular songs, but a good album nonetheless. Okay, now coming up, this is a little bit like cheating. So I could easily put these next two albums first place because they have, they have like all the best songs on them for the most part. I mean, for their time, that is. And this is a live album, and I remember having this as a teenager in the 8-track, and I listened to this thing, I mean, countless hours. I absolutely, for a while, this was my favorite album in the form of an 8-track. Get Your Ya-Ya's Out, the Rolling Stones. And like I said, it's hard. I won't put a compilation album in front of everything else because, I mean, it's the best of all those other albums, for the most part. So I'm going to read the tracks here. Jumping Jack Flash, Carol, Love in Vain, Midnight Rambler. I absolutely love that song. Sympathy for the Devil, Live With Me, Little Queenie. Then we've got Honky Tonk Woman, Street Fighting Man. I mean, this is just, I love this album. Like I said, I think, I haven't had a copy of this in a long time, but I have probably still listened to this album more than anything else that I have back in the day, as an 8-track. Okay, and that's why it's just like cheating, putting that in front of everything else. This one is another one, the same way. And this is the Rolling Stones Hot Rocks from 1964 to 1971. Right there, Hot Rocks, 64 to 71. So it's got all of their amazing hits on it. And I'm going to pull one of these out because if I remember correctly, this is beautiful gold kind of marbled vinyl. Okay. I mean, I really, I had to have this when I saw it. There's two, it's a 2-album set. There's 2 like this. So anyway, let me get to the track list on this. And it is amazing. Brown Sugar, Wild Horses, a couple of favorites of mine, Gimme Shelter, Honky Tonk Woman, another one, Satisfaction, Paint It Black, Jumpin' Jack Flash, Street Fighting Man, Midnight Rambler Live, a live version of Midnight Rambler. You Can't Always Get What You Want, a favorite song of mine. Let's Spend the Night Together, the big controversial song. Mother's Little Helper, 19th Nervous Breakdown. I mean, every one of these songs. I mean, if you're only going to have one Stones album, this has got to be the one right here. Okay. Get Off of My Cloud. Hey, hey, you. Play with Fire. Don't play with fire. Time is on my side. No, it's not. Heart of Stone, Under My Thumb, Sympathy for the Devil, As Tears Go By. This is just an absolutely amazing album. Okay, now that's it. That's all of them. That's all the Stone. I do have another CD, but I didn't pull it out. Another Stones album that a lot of people like. So anyway, that's it. And let's see what we have going on here in the chat. I'm going to put a link up one more time if someone would like to come on the show. And there it is. And we've got Novice Nick and Caitlin. And let's see who else has joined us recently. Stephen Fish, Sean McCall. Sean McCall, yep. Piccolina the Cat is now here. Michael Nolan is here. Foxo Chaka loves Gimme Shelter. And anyway, so we got a lively chat. Zeke Trick, Roy's probably been buying Stones albums since the 70s. I have been buying Stones albums from the 70s. That's absolutely correct. And let's see, Dr. Rick. So anyway, folks, like I said, I have a link up if someone wants to come on. It's in the chat. And we have been joined by the one and only Sir James.
Hello.
Your Jedi Knight.
Yes, Luke Skywalker.
I got to see some of your...
I left my name like that before. I didn't change it. It's okay.
From the earlier show. Yeah, I finally got a chance to come to your show a little bit. I couldn't come on because Sundays are really, really rough for me, man. I'm not only working on my house, I'm working on bids for jobs and trying to get my garage to where my 3-car garage to where 2 cars can eventually fit in it again. Working out there. Then I'm putting up some baseboards, some door trimmer on some doors and all kinds of stuff here. Plus try to prepare for my show.
Yeah.
So it gets really hard and I couldn't stay long. I just had so much I was doing, but it looked like you guys were having a fun time. You had a Star Wars show.
Oh yeah, we had a great time.
Yeah, I think I mentioned in the chat, I just watched the first 3, you know. I don't get as excited about it as the stuff that follows because the first 3 were just so unique, you know.
Yeah.
But they're still very enjoyable. So anyway, Melissa Boomer the Night has come on and Novice Nick. Hey, so anyway, let's get back to the Rolling Stones. Sir James, are you a big Rolling Stones fan?
Oh yeah, pretty much as the Beatles. Maybe I'm a bigger Beatles fan, but I love the Stones. I mean, the Stones have some great songs. And there's one documentary that Martin Scorsese did back in I think it was 2005, 2006, around in there.
Okay.
Called On the Light. You ever seen that?
No, I haven't.
It's like a concert, but it's like a documentary. And
okay,
I forget what song they were doing, and like they're rocking out. Keith was playing and all that, and then all of a sudden at the end of the show, at the end, no, not the end of the show, that the end of the song, Keith is like this. Just standing there like, Keith, do you know what century you're in? Like he's just standing there not knowing what to do after the song was over.
Right.
He could have been stoned.
Yeah, right. Well, there's so much going on with the Rolling Stones right now out there on, you know, doing their Hackney Diamonds concert tour and things like that.
And Mick can still strut around the stage at his age.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's got so much talent, talent. There's so many stories out there.
Blood got it. 2008, Shine a Light. Thanks, Blood.
Okay. So what do you have in the way of Stones albums and stuff? You have very much? I'm not asking you to show them or anything. I'm just curious.
I don't really have any.
Okay.
I think I only have a burnt copy on CD of Hot Rocks.
Okay. Well, have you seen the Stones live in concert?
Never.
Okay. Well, I mentioned earlier I was living in Long Beach, me and a couple of friends, and I was kind of the lone survivor. We all moved from Las Vegas down to Long Beach, and the Stones were coming to the Long Beach Arena, which is a huge venue, and we all got tickets, and some other friends came down from Las Vegas. We all went to see the Rolling Stones, and it was the Exile on Main Street album they were touring. And then later, and I think it was around 90, you know, I'm a little fuzzy on this one, but I saw the Bridges to Babylon tour also up in Portland, Oregon. And then we had tickets to see, you know, the tour they were supposed to do right before COVID hit. Not only had we paid for the tickets, we bought airline tickets. We were just going to not want to drive or anything, going to fly down there, stay in a hotel, see the concert, and then fly home. So we had already paid for all of that. And boy, did we have a tough time getting our money back from Ticketmaster. They kept saying, hey, man, It's not canceled, it's postponed. It's different. You only get your money refunded if it's canceled. So I'd call them every few weeks and screw with them a little bit. And hey, it's not canceled, it's just postponed. And so finally I called them after 2 or 3 weeks, 2 or 3 week lag, and they go, "Oh, you're too late. Didn't you get the email?" I go, "What are you talking about?" "Well, we sent you an email. You had a narrow window where we could have refunded your money." And just really pissed me off because no, I did not get the email. And so anyway, my wife got on the phone and ripped on them so hard that the money was deposited into our account the very next day.
Wow.
Yeah. So I called in reinforcements and she took care of business. So anyway, so we didn't get to see that show. I kind of wanted to see this. I mean, I did want to see this one. I was hoping maybe the Vegas date. Let's see, Vegas Allegiant Stadium is May 11th. A little too soon next week. I'm just getting ready to start one big job with another 1 or 2 following it, and so I've got a lot of stuff I'm having to do, and I can't do that. Maybe if it was July, August, maybe they'll add some tour dates, which so often happens. That would be good. So anyway, back to the Rolling Stones. I've always loved the Rolling Stones. And it's funny you said Beatles and Stones, because that's kind of what, back in the day, that was everybody, Beatles or Stones, and with some Beach Boys on the side. But for the most part, Beatles and Stones dominated there. And I would put the Rolling Stones, there's Led Zeppelin, the Rolling Stones, the Beatles, or Beatles and Rolling Stones, however you want to do that. But I would put those 3 as my top 3 bands. And I would have to call Led Zeppelin my top band. But hey, being in the top 3, is like huge with so much good music out there. Yeah. So anyway, it doesn't look like we're going to be getting joined by anybody else, but for fun, I'll throw up the link one more time.
Well, I kind of was. My spidey senses were tingling. I said, I'm going to have to save the show and help you out and come up.
Thank you.
I'm not as knowledgeable about the Stones. I know a little bit about them, but if it was the Beatles, I'd be all over it like a hot potato. But I said, I'm going to come up. I'll be the brave one and come up.
Right on. So, there's one story where this was years and years ago. Charlie Watts obviously was alive, but Charlie started to say something to Mick, and Mick says, "You don't have a voice. You're just my drummer, right?" And as the story goes, Charlie Watts hauled off and punched Mick Jagger in the face so hard he slid. I think he went onto a table where there was shrimp and everything, off the table, and slid almost the way the story went, almost out the window.
Come on, Melissa, get up here with us.
So anyway, I thought that was a great story. I always enjoyed their performances. We had great seats at the Long Beach Arena, but when it came to the Portland show, they were a gift from my daughter, Melissa.
Hey,
Melissa, are you the dark side boomer or Melissa Boomer of the Night?
It's just whatever they label me. It resets, and so whatever it is.
Are you a big Rolling Stones fan?
Massive. So way more than I ever was the Beatles until you guys started getting me into the Beatles.
Yeah. Well, it was just a few short years ago that I had the Stones. The Stones. What made the Stones special for me is their music was blues based, steeped in the blues. I never felt that from the Beatles because it just wasn't. But the interesting thing is when it comes to these British bands like the Rolling Stones, they loved the American blues artist more than the Americans loved the American blues artist. And they really brought a resurgence in the popularity of the American blues artist. And everybody benefited it. Even though, a lot of the bands, Led Zeppelin, the Rolling Stones, they actually did some
Clapton.
Yeah, you just complete straight up copies, maybe with some modifications. Well, try to make it their own because their styles are different. But they love the blues. There's countless stories of, like, Keith Richards runs into Mick Jagger before they really have the Rolling Stones. And Keith just got through buying a couple of blues albums, and they go back to the apartment. They spend a couple of days listening to them. They just love the American blues. And it like I said, even though they were still in some of their songs, all of them were, everybody benefited. They benefited redoing these Stones songs to their style of rock and roll. And then the soul artists all benefited. And then a lot of them got royalties too,
Well, yeah, I think after Lynn Chess got involved, I was like, we're not going to be doing this. Of chess, music.
So that's why I eventually leaned stronger into the Stones and into the Beatles.
Now, what about Zeppelin there, though?
Well, I put Zeppelin above both of them.
I mean, as far as how do you guys feel about the way the Rolling Stones and Led Zeppelin started to capitalize on it, and later on Eric Clapton? But
well, to me, it was that deep appreciation they had for the American blues, and I love that. They really had a way of making the songs their own because of their styles were so much different. I mean, Willie Dixon did a bunch of songs, and I walked into my heating and air conditioning contractor's warehouse one day, and he was in the office with some customers, and I was just standing around the warehouse, and he had big speakers up on racks, and Willie Dixon songs were playing. When he finally came out, I said, "Hey, what's up with this? Who's this cat singing these Led Zeppelin songs?" And he started laughing, and he goes, "No, those Led Zeppelin sang his songs. That's Willie Dixon." And I go, "Oh shit."
Yeah. Have you guys?
So anyway, yeah. So they all copied the Stones copied the song. They just took a lot from them in terms. But like I said, their styles were so much different. They could make them their own song.
Sure.
So
sure.
Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I just love this story, and I'm not going to remember her name right now. But the woman who sang on "Give Me Shelter," that amazing part. That, good Lord, who can sing that part? Give me that part.
It's just a shot away.
Right, there you go.
Yeah, that's great.
She was picked up. She was a session musician. I can't remember if it was Stax or Muscle Shoals, because I know the guys, Rolling Stone guys, worked at both. Stax and Muscle Shoals. They were more Muscle Shoals guys. You kind of have to, it's kind of 6 of one, half dozen of the other when you start getting into those areas. But they were more Muscle Shoals guys. And she was a very prim and proper woman. And she was a backup singer for both Stax Muscle Shoals. Her husband comes in and says, "These British guys want to record you. It's you they want. Get up, get dressed." And she said, "What are you talking about?" And he said, "It's the Rolling Stones." And she said, Who? He had no clue who they were. She was more of a backup singer for girl group ties, brill building type. I'm not saying she did it for brill building people, but that type of music, R&B, blues, soul. So he gets her up out of bed. She's getting her lipstick on. He's going, "No, come on. Let's go now. It's you. You have to come now." So she goes in, she does one take, and then she does the fills, one take, and they're in the booth. She can see them, and she doesn't understand that they're all excited and exuberant. They said, "We're good." And she's like, "Wait, no. We've got to do a couple more takes." And if you listen, she does have a couple of notes that aren't perfect, but she was used to perfection. She was used to exact. And they were, this is it. And, she actually did. She admitted later that she did lose. She was pregnant, and she did have that happen. That became a rumor that was a fact. And I do own Sticky Fingers, the Warhol zipper, and I'm not a collector like y'all are, but I do own the Warhol zipper one, which they only, I believe it was 70,000 copies that they had in the initial run. And then
wait. Is it the big zipper or the downsized one? Because they were damaged.
It's the actual first run. So.
Oh, the bigger zipper. Okay. Well, that's cool. Yeah.
It's worthless. Beatles, you know.
Well, I want to say Michael Nolan had brought up a great point here. The Beatles were blues based, but more rockabilly than straight blues. But you know,
That's
Michael, back when they were doing their residency in Hamburg, Germany, and stuff like that, they were doing some openings. They were opening some shows for Little Richard as well, and they were adopting a lot of his style at the time, and that's reflected in some of the early recordings, early album recordings, not just the residency, you know. So anyway, no, they were, but they weren't like true to it, you know. I mean, like Eric Clapton would quit bands if they weren't blues based, you know, even though they were highly successful. But anyway, they're a great band. You can't take anything away from them. Everybody doesn't have to be blues based anyway.
And Graham Parsons helped write the song "Wild Horses" while they were at Muscle Shoals.
Oh, really? You know, I have to give a shout out to Sean McCall. I'm sorry. Sean McCall is a member of my Patreon account, and he was actually the very first person to join. And I want to thank you so much, Sean. I really appreciate it. After that, on the same night, Steve Midthen, who's not here tonight, or either that or I haven't seen him, Steve Midthen joined. And of course, Michael Nolan and Steve joined back to back. Maybe it was Michael second and Midthen third. It all happened in one night. It was kind of a whirlwind that night. The great pick, and I want to thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate it. You know, the show's growing. We had a show on this week that hit some pretty big numbers. I think it's at 1.4 thousand and almost slightly less than 3 days. So I was real pleased with that.
Thanks, Michael. Mary Clayton was the name of the woman who was singing.
Oh,
on.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Foxo Chaka, Beatles pop rock, Stones blues rock. And
I'm doing one on rockabilly. I'm working on my content back kind of in my own. I'm doing one on rockabilly. There are so many great early rockabilly. Yeah,
I was glad I got a chance, you know, Melissa, to pop in your show for a little bit today and watch and comment on it.
Thank you. Eddie Cochran, though, is one of my all-time favorite artists. So there is such an amalgamation of all these artists you're talking about, Royce. And I jumped on again and said, please go watch this if you haven't seen Royce's coverage of Wichita Lyman. But getting back to the Stones, sorry, I know we're staying on point.
Yeah. We want to stay focused because it just gets out of control. And I'm sometimes the biggest offender. What can I say, Royce? I'm tribal. I'm tribal too, Michael. We're from the same tribe. We both know that. God is amazing on Sweet Sounds of Heaven. Stephen, I completely agree. I even said that when I was showing the Hackney Diamonds album. She was amazing on that. I don't know why people were, you know, maybe you know, some people don't like her, so people were criticizing her early on. But I don't know how you could improve on that. She was absolutely excellent. You know,
she graduated from the performing arts, the School of Performing Arts, which is the FAME. That's the FAME school in New York City. Leslie Gore wrote the song for the film Fame, that was very factually based. As goofy as the film might seem, it's very dark. But my point, I'm going to bring it back to the Stones on this one. So the school, yeah, I promise. I promise right now. So, you remember the film we were talking about last time, the Tammy film. The Stones were involved in that. Remember the TAMI?
Yeah, you mentioned that today. Yeah.
So the Stones and all the Wrecking Crew people were involved in it.
Yeah.
Spector was involved in it. Leslie Gore performed "You Don't Own Me" on it. It's a great documentary. You should check out.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of like music documentaries the last several months. There's a lot of stuff on YouTube TV to watch. And if that's not enough for you, they got them on Netflix too, and probably even on Amazon. My television is all streaming now. I got rid of Dish Network, and not a moment too soon. With nothing to watch, it was all infomercials. You could buy knives, you could buy pots and pans, you could buy everything, but have something good to watch, unless you wanted to buy all the premiums and spend a couple of $100 a month instead of $150. and I just wasn't into it. I don't watch a lot of TV. I'm kind of busy,
Oh yeah.
I'm probably watching more now that I'm streaming than I have in like the last 10, 20 years, to be honest with you.
I call this my crack top because it goes everywhere around the house with me, everywhere, every room. And I've cracked it 3 times, and my other computers get treated like, China. This one's cracked I know. And the camera's broken, everything anyway. But the Stones, I was going to mention when I saw them, it was the very night Clapton came out on stage with them.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And this GNR opened for them. And that was an historic night in Los Angeles because Guns N' Roses.
GNR opened for them?
Yes. And Guns N' Roses fired Steven Adler that very night. And the original.
Yeah, drummer. I know Steven Adler. I've been around him about 6 times. My daughter opened a clothing store here in Atascadero 12 years ago, something like that, and she knew Steven Adler from L.A. and she knew Ryan Roxy. Ryan Roxy brought his band up. And Steven Adler came up and sat in and played drums. And there was a couple other bands. She opened a clothing store, trying to bring all these LA fashions up here to the Central Coast. And they had a stage set up. They barricaded off both ends of a street. Steven Adler was there. And it was a fun time. And then my son-in-law was in a band called the Star Frickers. I won't say it. I don't want my show to get demonetized. But he was a band that played at the Cat Club every Thursday night down in LA. Ryan Roxy was in his band, as well as Alice Cooper's band. And Ryan Roxy's just I tell you what, every time I see Ryan Roxy, and I saw him when Alice Cooper was in town here a couple of years ago, every time I see him, he's like, I didn't think he could get more fluid than he is. He absolutely amazes me as a guitar player. So anyway, those guys would all come up. You'd have 2 of my granddaughter's godfathers. Wow. Let's see. Just give me a second here. The drummer for Kiss, Singer. Okay, Eric Singer would always be there. Tommy Clefidis, who plays for Ozzy or Black Sabbath, whoever he was, touring as. He played in all his concerts. And he would be there. And then just a whole bunch of great guys. I mean, Teddy Zigzag, who played keyboards for Guns N' Roses. Another guy who played keyboard for Guns N' Roses. They had this entourage of people that they hung out in the clubs together. And every time Stefan put on one of these shows, they all wanted to be a part of it. They'd be taking turns playing drums. Slim Jim Phantom would be over there playing drums too. It was great.
Did your daughter ever work with Nikki Sixx by chance?
No, she never worked with any of them. She's a pharmaceutical sales rep.
No, I'm talking about her clothing store.
No.
Okay, because
she just went every week down to the buyer's market in LA and bought a bunch of stuff.
Okay, I'm curious because St. John Knits, they used to be my bosses.
Yeah, and Eric Singer, Caitlin, you're right. Eric Singer is awesome. He's a great drummer. Tommy Clefidis will blow your mind. He's more like a John Bonham. He really attacks the drums. If you want to see some amazing drumming, go on YouTube and do a search for Tommy Clefidis, Clufetus, I believe. Tommy Clefidis drum solos. And
isn't it a tragedy that so many of these amazing session musicians, they might have worked for Kiss or Rolling Stones or anyone. Who was it I just saw? My Dickie Betts. Rest in peace.
Yeah. Okay. Rest in peace.
Right. But anyone who's been a session musician or a longtime touring musician with some of the biggest bands out there, and they may be broke in the off season. They may be broke completely. That's just tragic.
Yeah.
It's truly tragic.
Yeah, people got taken advantage of for sure.
It's the industry. It's not necessarily Keith and Mick's fault. It's not necessarily Greg Allman's fault.
It's touring and stuff like that's super expensive. I don't remember the name of the band. I'm getting off track and I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to skip that.
You're almost an hour in.
No, I know. That's true. But this band went on tour, and when they got home, even though it was a successful tour and they were selling out, they owed the people that put it on for them money. They didn't get to make any money. Right. So obviously that was a really bad contract. Sure. But so yeah, it's a tough business.
Yeah, even going back though to the 80s. Let's take it back to the 80s when it was our era, 70s for you guys. But even back then, the industry was taking so much advantage of the artists that it's horrible. That's why I focus
they will if you let them. I mean, that's where Jimmy Page was so smart. He did all the recordings before they went to visit Ahmet Ertegun, the founder of Atlantic Records. Right. And so he wasn't going to be at their mercy because he had made money as a session musician and playing with the Yardbirds and some other people. So he had money and he paid for everything himself, And
Martin Bandier of Sony, he got out with $2 billion. And I was mentioning to Michael, it doesn't matter if the Beatles do or don't want this project with Peter Jackson going forward. If they want to, they will go forward. They just will. He was the architect of the Michael Jackson acquiring all of the Beatles rights. So Martin Bandier was.
Yeah, he paid. What did he pay for that? Do you remember?
I don't, but he got out. He's gone now from Sony, and he is $2.1 billion richer for the whole thing. Yeah. But Paul McCartney isn't even a billionaire. So you can see the disparity.
No, Paul McCartney's been a billionaire for a long time.
He came out a little bit less recently because of fighting. The fights are what cost people money. You audit, you pay lawyers. You do this, you pay lawyers. It's always the fights. Meatloaf died broke. Every newspaper or outlet reported that he died and he was valued at something like $4 million. No. He died completely broke. Jim Steinman, same thing. His writer, same thing, completely.
Well, that's a shame. I know it happens. It happens not just in music, but so many other things too.
Right.
But Piccolino the cat, I love this comment. Didn't fire Charlie because he didn't want to get punched again. That's
Bill
great.
Wyman. Didn't Michael, you recently, or was it you, Royce, that recently posted the "What's your favorite era of the Stones"? I think
no, I didn't post that one. No.
Okay, I think Bill Wyman was a great, cool.
This is a great comment too. Jagger was amazing. The stage was shaped like a flower. All the gear was hung from the Boston Garden rafters. That was a first. Only the drum kit and Billy Preston's keys were on stage. Wow, that's amazing.
Wow.
Thanks for sharing that. Much appreciated. Michael Nolan says, I'm trying. It just slips out.
There's a great kind of college band from the 80s called the Smithereens. I know Caitlin will know who they are. James, I don't know if you remember them, but they had a song. Yeah, they had a song called Wall of Sleep. And one of the lyrics was, and she stood just like Bill Wyman. She was playing in a band. It's a great tribute line.
Well, there's one. I don't know if it's a documentary, if it's a movie or what, but I've heard some of the songs that they play on the Beatles channel on Sirius XM. I want to see this movie, The Rolling Stones Rock and Roll Circus.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Oh, because I know John Lennon's in there, so that's another reason I want to watch it too.
You know what? It's the one where you've probably seen the part with Yoko and John about 10 times. That one clip, that one part, you've probably seen it. Sorry, my cracked top keeps. There we go. Yeah, but you've probably seen footage from it a billion times, and you just don't realize it's from that Rock and Roll Circus.
Right. So anyway, let's see here.
Link Ray. Wah, 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 wah.
What?
Somebody brought up Link Ray.
Link Ray. Yeah.
Yeah, Link Ray's wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, he had a great.
Link Ray. Yeah, I've heard of him. Yeah.
Yeah. Who was it just recently was playing his big hit? I can't remember. Okay, the Smithereens song "Groovy Tuesday" is cool. Sean
Wall of Sleep. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, and she's doing just like Bill. They do.
Dr. Rick, how you doing? Rock and Roll Circus was great. Yes, it was. Music Sanctuary. She was playing in a band down on something behind a wall of sleep.
Yeah.
Band down on something behind a wall of sleep. Okay.
Yeah. That's a great.
Brian Jones was so baked at the Rock and Roll Circus.
Oh, was he? And there we go.
Rumble.
I thought it would be Keith.
Jimmy Page. Yes, I love Jimmy Page. There'll never be another band like Led Zeppelin, as far as I'm concerned.
There'll never be another era of music like that. I spoke with someone on Rachel's Ghost, and James, you might know who it is, but he was friends with someone in The Cure. Who it was that? Because I didn't mean to be disrespectful by saying I didn't like The Cure. I really just don't. I like a couple of their songs, but I'm much more of a fan of the Smiths. Then again, I'm not a fan of Morrissey as a human.
Oh, you're Dr. Rick. Dr. Rick just reminded me who it was. It was Jimmy Page played Link Ray's song at some awards thing just this year. That happened just X amount of months ago. I'm not sure how many, but yeah. Thanks, Dr. Rick. I just couldn't remember. I knew it was somebody important, but I couldn't remember who it was.
I think that we should all start getting into all these great bands that were influenced by the Beatles, by the Stones, and had some great music in the 80s, not the trash craptastic bands that were in, like Daryl Hall and John Oates got bad in the 80s.
Everybody was pretty much influenced and continue to be influenced. So it's like a lot of what followed was influenced by them, and we are listening to them as far as I'm concerned. I mean, even the new stuff, I mean, it's all influenced by the old stuff, right? What do you think, James?
Yeah. There's two songs I like by the Stones, but I don't know what albums they're on. Waiting on a Friend.
Oh yeah, and, I think that is Black and Blue, I think.
And I like To the Last Time We Say Goodbye.
No, I'm not sure about that one. The Black Crowes live album featured Jimmy Page. Black Crowes, I have to be honest, I like the Black Crowes, but the worst concert I think I ever attended from a well-known band was the Black Crowes. I was in the front row. Laughlin River Run, Harley Davidson ride to Laughlin. And we lost Melissa.
Yeah, she just kind of
Rumble was banned on the radio. Yeah, Rumble was banned on the radio. Interesting. It's all fluent. Okay. So anyway, folks, I think this might be a little early one. We're actually going to shut down at 7:30. My grandson is down from Washington, and him and his girlfriend are coming over. In fact, they may even be here right now. And so we're gonna, have a little family time out there. Melissa Boomer of the Night, which my crack top died. Wow.
Oh.
Well, I am sorry to hear that. Crack top. Wow. Caitlin Stoddard, Witch on Dan. Thanks for having me. You're very welcome, Melissa. Enjoyed some stories from you, and I appreciate you participating. Kind of a slow night for co-hosts.
Well, I figured I'd have fun coming up because I missed last week.
No, I know.
That wasn't feeling good.
Yeah, if it was any day but today when you offered to let me come on your show, I would have, but I just buried in stuff I had to get done.
Oh, I'm sure I'll get you up there at some point.
I just wanted to come on and say hi and check in.
And I have to email you soon or text you on Facebook about when we're going to set up that Beatles panel. I just got to figure out date and time. Don't forget, we're two different time zones. But if we do an afternoon show where it's easier for me to get in, that would be perfect. But
sure,
whatever.
Well, I know. Sadly, I'm still working full time.
Yeah,
I do get. I am self-employed, so I get time off. Off in between. But sometimes those betweens are few and far.
I'm sure we'll work it out.
I mean, I have had the time for sure the last 3 weeks or so to come on and do something during the day. But I will be starting a new job here very soon. And I think by about the time I'm finishing that, there'll be another much larger job coming online.
Yeah, I'm going to text you soon about that, and we'll work it out. What's the name of the Stone song where he says, Mick says, "I ran 20 red lights in God's
in your honor." The girl with the faraway eyes.
Oh, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord.
Yeah.
Okay. See, all these Stone songs are popping in my head. And you know, I want to be your lover, baby. I want to be your man. That's the Beatles wrote that.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
But I prefer the Beatles version more than I do the Stones version of that for some reason.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah.
It just, I just can't, like, the way Mick sings, it doesn't sound right.
Yeah, you know, sometimes once you've heard it from one band, one artist you really like, it just falls flat with the next guy, you know. Then other times you like it as much or better. Depends. So hey, so let me ask you, how long did your show go on today anyway?
I went on for 4 hours and 18 minutes.
Really? Wow, that's long.
Well, I have to wait because Jorgen always gets in late. You've seen Jorgen before, I think, my friend Jorgen.
I always see Dave. Then somebody else came on, but I don't recognize that name that you're saying.
Oh, Mr. Beckham?
Beckham, that's right. That's
he's another friend of mine.
Right. Okay.
And he's a big Star Wars nerd, and he loves Star Trek, so he's into the Star Wars thing. Right. So I said, "Get your butt up here with us," you know. And of course, Kate was there a little later.
Well, you know, we all loved Star Trek back in the day.
Yeah.
And Captain Kirk just came out with a new, I think, kids album or something. I think I just read about that yesterday.
I'm just picturing him singing. You ever heard Shatner do Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds? It's terrible.
No, I know he's got some albums out there, but I haven't heard Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. I don't think I can
yourself on a boat on a river.
Oh yeah, it's like he's just talking and not singing.
Yeah.
It, right? Yeah.
It's like, no, thank you.
Right. Okay, folks, I think we've ran out of stones here for now. So I want to thank everybody that joined us. I really appreciate that. And if you're not a subscriber, I just noticed yesterday, and it was the worst of the statistics of all time, that in the last, I think it was last week, 90% of my viewers weren't subscribers.
Wow.
And only 10% of my viewers were subscribers. Usually it's a little different type of a mix. It's usually like 2 to 1, 2 non-subscribers for every 1 subscriber. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. It just helps support the show. I mean, if you're enjoying what you're watching, it's not going to kill you. So, you know, hit that subscribe button. Hey, please hit the thumbs up like button too. And that's really important on these shows because
that is a good song.
It gets the algorithm to put your shows in front of people searching for content. So if you get a lot of thumbs up, likes, hit the like button. You have more opportunity to bring new members into the community, and get the word out. Let people see your show, and build your show. So that's what's important about that thumbs up button. So anyway, thank you all so much. I want to thank everybody that joined us tonight. I want to thank James for co-hosting, Melissa for co-hosting, and we'll certainly do it again. I subscribed to Roy so he wouldn't send Caitlin after me.
Oh, and Caitlin would go after you.
Hey, who else can I threaten with that?
I forgot to tell you on my show
1.1, yeah.
You can actually, because you have a wrench, you're a mod. You can promote your channel anytime you want.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah, not too many people have that wrench system. I know Rachel always had it.
Yeah.
And I tell you, one of the things I used to do on Rachel's show, because there's so many people in the chat, there's always new people too. I used to always click on their little logo, at the front of their name, and there was a link where you could say go to channel. You hit it, and boom, you're at their channel. And I would subscribe to people, and I kind of ran out of people to subscribe to because I think I subscribed to everybody on our channel. If there's one or two, yeah, there may be three, you know. But I would come back in the chat and let them know that, hey, so and so, I just subscribed to your channel. And so anyway, Rachel always liked that, and you know, most of the time they would hit mine back, you know.
Yeah,
it wasn't all for naught. But anyway, so it's not easy building a show. There's a lot of competition out there, and you know, people only have so many hours a day to watch a show, you know. And if you're running a 3 or 4 hour show, you know, if you can get someone to watch the whole thing, great. But also, it's hard to watch shows that long. I can't watch a 3 or 4 hour show anymore. I've had. When we started out, my first group of co-hosts, our shows were running about 3 hours, and every once in a while it was 4.
Aaron.
Oh, Aaron's here. Hey, brother, how you doing? I saw you elsewhere today over at Groovy Lisa's where I popped in for a bit. Royce, your Wichita Lineman show was fantastic. Yeah, I mean, in less than 3 days, I had 1.4 thousand views on that. I thought that was a good. I'm gonna be doing more pre-recordeds. I got a list of shows that I want to do, and I'm gonna sit down every Wednesday night and try to produce a couple of them, and then pick days to play them. And I have a lot of fun doing those. And they have a live chat. You know, people come and watch the chat. Okay, let's see. Michael Nolan, I just posted a poll on which Rolling Stone era was best. Okay, so Michael posted that. The Bria Jones era is currently in the lead. Oh, wow. That's like really crazy. So, Mr. Bizarro, hey, James. Well, Aaron, we're actually going to sign off now, brother. I enjoyed your show the other night, though. That was a lot of fun. I always enjoy coming on your show. Boy, I made it 2 weeks in a row. But you show everybody a good time on that show, Aaron. You guys want to check out? Here he is. He's Mr. Bizarro, and you know, subscribe to him, check him out, go watch. You'll have fun. He plays whole albums, you know, all the way through, and he's got, you know, really good stuff too. He's got a lot of he's really dug deep in his lifetime for some of this stuff, because I'm always seeing stuff that I'm not familiar with, as well as stuff that I am familiar with. But I know Eddie's physical media used to also play a lot of stuff that I
love going to Eddie's streams.
Hey, Mr. Bizarro, or Aaron, his name is Aaron. Yeah. You're very welcome. I mean, you do have a good show. You do have a good show, and it's a fun chat as well. It's a fun chat. So anyway, folks, bye, Biz. Okay, guys, so we're signing off now, and I want to thank everybody that joined us. I want to thank you for co-hosting. Same with Melissa. And
you're welcome.
That's what's going on in Royce's world today. Good night, everybody.